Hi, in this lecture we are going to see about how to find iterative and recursive solutions for problem. So now what example we are going to take is sum of first n natural numbers. So I want to find out for example if the value of n is 5, right, when n is equal to 5 I have to find out what is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. Okay, if n is 10 then we have to find 1 plus 2 plus up to 10, right. So how we can do this? The first idea is iterative procedure. In iterative procedure what we will do is we will initialize a variable to store the sum, total sum, and we will say that is equal to 0, right, and then we will be going on accumulating the added values into it. By that way we will be finding sum of first n natural numbers. So let us see the code. For that I am going to demonstrate with a function. So this is the main routine. We all know that when we are going to execute the code, the execution begins with the main program. Okay, and we have declared two variables n and res. N is going to denote the number till which we have to find the sum, and res is going to be used for storing the accumulated sum, right. So we are interacting with the user and reading the value of n, and then I have written a function to find the sum of first n natural numbers. So we call the function with the value of n, right. So we have to pass the value of n up to which we have to find the sum, right, and then the function is going to return the summation. So that is the result that will be stored in a variable. So we have to call like this. Function call is here, res equal to sum underscore natural, that is the name of the function, and the value of n, right. After getting the value we are going to print it on the screen, right. So now when you look at the sum function, actually let me remove this. I have just named there as sum, so in function call also it should be sum. So when you look at this sum function, here only we are going to find the summation. So we are going to loop through, right, from 1 to n. So look at the for loop. We are starting from 1 and we have to go till n, right. So I less than or equal to n, I plus plus. What we are doing is we are having a variable res and we are initializing res is equal to 0, and in this loop we are going to add the value of I to res, right. So we are going to accumulate the summation in it, and after the for loop we are going to return the value what is there in res. This is going to be the code, right. So we can compile it. Yeah, if I give the value as 5, you can see that the sum is 15. So 1 plus 2 plus 3 up to 5 is 15, right. Similarly you can give any value. If I give 50, it is giving the summation of the first 50 natural numbers, right. So this is the iterative solution for the problem. Only thing here different is we have written a function. To the function we pass the value of n till which we have to find, and it returns the summation, right. And when we look at it, it's a normal variable. N is a normal integer. So when we just give the name of the variable, it will be passed by value, right. So it is passed by value. Of course we are not making any changes in the variable n in the function, but even if you make changes, that is not going to affect the original value of n because it is passed by value. This is just to recall what we have discussed in the previous sessions. Now we will find out another one solution. This solution is based on something called as recursion, right. So what is recursion is when I want to find sum of 5, okay. So when we closely look at it, when I want to find what is sum of 5, it is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 only, right. When you look at this 1 plus 2 plus 3 up to 4, this is sum of 4, right. What is sum of 4? Sum of 4 is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, right. And what is sum of 3 is 1 plus 2 plus 3. And what is sum of 2 is 1 plus 2. What is sum of 1 is 1, right. So how we can have a look? The second look for the problem is you can say that sum of 5 is sum of 4 plus 5. You can look like this, it will be sum of 4 plus 5. And when you look at sum of 4, actually it will be sum of 3 plus 4, right? And similarly, what will be sum of 3 is sum of 2 plus 3, and what will be sum of 2 is sum of 1 plus 2, right? So, what is the point here is to find the solution for a input n. It is the solution for n minus 1 plus something, okay, plus n, right? Here it is plus n. So, generally when we look at certain problems, we have a problem and we have to find a solution for an instance of size n, and when we look at it, the solution for the instance with size n will depend on the solution that will be found for smaller instances like n by 1 or n by n minus 1 or n minus 2, or it can also be n divided by 1, like that. Okay, there will be some repetition. Okay, when you look at the solution, there will be a pattern that we can find, and in that situation we can go for what is called as recursive solution. So, what is recursive solution is in functions, when we call a function, and a function calls itself, right, we call that as recursion. Okay, so when a function calls itself, it's called as recursion. So, when we look at this particular problem, right, when you are going to find sum of 5, you have to find what is sum of 4 and then you will add 5 to it. Then when you want to find sum of 4, what you can say is you have to find out what is sum of 3 and add 4 to it, right. Like that, the larger instance of the problem depends on the smaller instance, and we have a binding there. Actually, the plus operator is the binder, which is going to bind the solution of the smaller instance with something, right. So, with addition is going to be the binder operator, and we are going to add the value of n to it, right. So, you can see the function here, and two things you have to remember when we are going to write a recursive function. There will be a base condition and there will be recursive condition. There should be a base condition for all recursive functions, then only the function can stop, right. So, in this case, when we look at the sum operation, sum of 1 is 1, okay. It is not going to be further depending on any other smaller instance. So, we can say sum of 1 is equal to 1, that is the base condition, or that is going to be the stopping condition. So, look at the function declaration. Int is going to be the return type, and then we have got the name of the function followed by the value of the list of parameters. Here the value of n is being passed, and we write the base condition. In the base condition, what we say is if the value of n is 1, then you are going to return 1, right. And then recursive condition is, we say that sum of n minus 1, you can say in two steps like this. You can store in a variable res equal to sum of n minus 1 plus n, right. You can say, and you can say return res, or you can say return sum of n minus 1 plus n also, right. So, first of all, you find out the result is going to be sum of n minus 1 plus n, okay, and you can return the result, or else you can write it in a single step also like this. Both are one and the same, okay. So, the recursive condition, why do we call this as recursive condition is, in that condition you will be calling the function again. So, when we look at how the function will execute, you can see that already I have mentioned about the call stack in the previous lectures. So, this is how a call stack will look like, and when we call the function, actually you can see in the main what we do is we read the value of n from the user and we call the function, okay, we call the sum function with value n, right, and then we print it. So, when we make a call to n, actually originally when the execution begins, the call stack will be looking like this. One of the thing alone is occupied, that is for main. There are two variables, one is going to be n, other one is going to be res. So, for both of the variable, memory will be allocated, and I give the value as 5, n as 5. So, 5 is returned here, and res, what we do is we say sum of n, okay. So, that is sum of 5. This is how it will look like. And then now it is a function call. Whenever there is a function call, your call stack will start growing, and now one more activation record will come into the call stack, and you can see that your call stack will be looking like this now. Okay, this is the first call for sum with value of n as 5. Now, when you look at the function sum, there are there is a variable n in this. Okay, this n is a parameter. The parameter also will get a memory allocated in the space of the function only. So here n is 5 and the value of 5 is copied from here to here, right? And here I am having a variable res, right? This is this method. In this method, then you have to declare also. Okay, if you declare res, then you will see that memory will be allocated. Okay, so res is allocated, and what do we say? What do we say is n plus. Okay, so the value of n here is 5 plus sum of n minus 1. So sum of 5 minus 1 is 4. This is how the call stack will look like after the first function call. So for this sum of 4, right? Again you will see that activation record will get pushed into this, and you will see the call stack grows now. Okay, this is the function call for sum of 4. So the value of n will be stored in the space allocated for n, that is 4, and for res it will be 4 plus sum of 3. So now it is once again a function call sum of 3. The call stack grows, right? So here you see sum of 3, right? And once again this is a different space, n is 3, and result is going to be 3 plus sum of 2, right? And then once again, since this is sum of 2, the call stack will grow, and you will see that this is the space for n for this particular function call. So 2 is copied over here, and then the result will be 2 plus sum of 1. Now for this sum of 1, a activation record is pushed, right? So there is a variable n, so 1 is copied over here, and when the value of n is 1, your code says that return 1, right? So 1 is stored here and it is going to be returned. This is a temporary location, it is going to be returned. So where the control will come back is, it will come back to the place where this function was called. Sum of 1 was called in this particular place. So 1 will come and get substituted here. So 2 plus 3, okay, 2 plus 3, 3 will be returned, and where sum of 2 was called, to that particular place control will go. So 3 will be added to this 6, okay, 3 plus 3 will be 6. So where sum of 3 was called, to that place the control will go. 6 plus 4 will be 10, and the control will go to the place where sum of 4 was called. 5 plus 10 will be 15. So now the control will go to the place where this sum of 5 was called, right, and 15 will be stored here. Okay, this is how the code will be, and so res will be having 15 after the entire sequence of function calls gets over, and it will print 15, right? Okay, so this is how it's going to happen here, right? Hope things are clear. This is what is recursive procedure, and recursive procedure means a function calling itself is only called as recursive function, and all the problems cannot be solved by recursion. Only the problem in which the solution of a larger instance depends on the solution of a smaller instance, and you can bind through a operator. In this case, sum of n depends on sum of n minus 1, and we are using plus as the binding operator, and we have binded with n, right? So if you can find a relationship like this, then we can provide recursive solutions, and when we look at the recursive solutions, it will be easier to write. That is the advantage. But when you look at the drawback, since each time an activation record is being pushed, there is a lot of context switching happening, right? So of course it's a drawback, and the speed of execution will be slow when you compare to iterative solutions. Most of the problems for which we can write recursive solutions, we can also write iterative procedures, but you have to know both the things and have an understanding. Thank you.